What's going on, guys? If you watched my 4-part series on the Camry fix, that was a couple of years ago now, at least. The car ran fine for a few months, and then I got the triangle of death again, and it's been sitting here in the garage for almost a year. It hasn't run, just sitting here collecting dust. So it's a beautiful fall day, and I have decided to do something with it. I just pulled the battery pack out of it, and again, cut my arm. If you watched a few years ago in my very first video when I pulled this thing out, you got to be careful, man. When you pick this battery up by yourself, right here, your arm just kind of falls right there, and it will cut it twice now. But the car's been sitting for so long that I have the benefit of resting voltage. And what I mean by that is the battery packs have been sitting for so long that the bad cells should actually show bad without, having to do a load test on them. So the theory here is, and I've done some research on it, is anything that's setting maybe 7.3 or above, maybe okay. 7.3 maybe suspect. Anything below 7.3 needs to be investigated. Anything in the 6s or high 6s, once I test these, just probably are going to be junk. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the battery up again. I'm not going to film all that. I did that in the other series. But I'm going to open it up and start testing. If I have a lot of bad cells, I may just get a new pack or a rebuilt pack, or I may try to build this one. I don't know yet, but the car is still in great shape, and it's worth fixing. It needs some love, so I have a little bit of time to do it. Actually, I don't have any time to do it, but I'm making some time. It's time to get the car out of the garage. I've got a Jeep Cherokee project that I need to get in the garage and do some work on, and the car has just taken up too much space. So I'll take you guys along with me on this little journey. I don't know if it'll be a series or not, but it probably will. But I'll keep you updated. All right, guys, I got the battery torn down and been doing some testing. One thing I noticed right away, I've got a lot of corrosion in here. You can see some really serious corrosion. I mean, I'm sure it could be cleaned up, but there's a lot of corrosion. And I tested the cells. I probably have 10 cells that are below 7. Many of them are reading 7.4, 7.47. A couple of them 7.50, but again, 9 or 10 of them, I didn't even put it on a spreadsheet. 9 or 10 of them are reading 6 point something. So with it been resting for a year, and those dropping below 7, I'm going to consider that, all 10 of those need to be replaced. And then I need to do a load test on each one to make sure the ones that are reading above 7 are actually still holding. This battery pack is trash. I mean, not trash. Certainly a rebuilder could, make use of some good cells in here. But if I have to buy at least 10 cells, maybe more, and then the Prolong system, which runs about $650 to $800, depending on what option I get, I'm going to get up to around $1,200 to, $1,500 trying to do this myself, and then no guarantee. So I'm going with Green Bean battery rebuilders. That's green bean, like the green beans you eat. And I called them, just got off the phone with them. I have it scheduled. They're going to come out and put a new battery in for me. And I get a lifetime warranty with that. So, hey, can't go wrong. It's also a transferable warranty. And Green Bean has been around for a few years, and I think they're a good company. But I'm going to get this battery back together and I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in the car. I put the battery back together and put it back in the car just so Green Bean, the installer, would be able to see that the battery is all intact. He can crank the car, read the codes, and know that there's a good battery pack or a good core in the car. I didn't want the battery sitting on a bench. I don't know how they would respond to that. I also cranked the car, made sure it ran fine. I put Stayville fuel additive in the tank when I parked it to make sure the gas would stay fresh, and it did. And then I drove it around the block, took a water hose to it, hosed it off pretty good. All right, guys, the Green Bean guy came and he left and he installed a new battery. The car is actually on. And let's see, he just took it for a test drive and then he left. And this is just around the block. Now, he didn't go, but not maybe a mile and a half. And this battery is, this new refurbished battery is looking good. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm not going to post this video until I get a few miles. So we're at 169.51 right now. And I'll update you guys to how it goes. But you can see we're all back together. Green Bean guy put all that back together for me. He said he could do it blindfolded. He pretty much did. He was talking to me, looking at me most of the time, but I'm gonna change the oil because it hasn't been changed in quite a while. And I can't go far because my tag hasn't been registered since 2018. Wonder if the AC is gonna work okay. Let's see, turn it on. There we go. Crank it down so if it gets cold. Yeah, it's already getting cold. And that AC should pull the battery down. We know that. But it shouldn't pull it down quickly. Oh yeah, that's nice and cold. All right, taking our first long run in the Camry. We'll go about, what, about 100 miles today? Maybe about 100. And just leaving the gas station, filling up. I had about a half a tank, and that half a tank had been sitting for about 18 months. But I had Staybill in it, so we went ahead and topped it off with premium. And just going about 2 miles from the house, you can see the battery fully charged. So far we're in good shape. Well, folks, here we are again. The car was absolutely running awesome until check hybrid system. So this is the second time that it's happened. I didn't film the first time it happened. I think we ended the video last time. I'm getting the green bean battery. I went on a little trip. We put about 100 miles on it. After about 50, 60 miles, I was sitting in a parking lot waiting on my wife. And AC was running. The battery kind of ran down. The engine, and before the engine could crank back up to charge the battery, the battery threw a code, replaced battery pack. I have my code reader with me, so I was able to run the code. I got in touch with Green Bean Battery Warranty. They said, you know, we'll fix it, no problem. We'll send another battery out. They said, you know, in the meantime, just reset the code because I was able to. And then it was fine. I drove around another 50 miles maybe, and, you know, did great. And then I let the car sit overnight, and then this happened again. So the battery's definitely bad. Green Bean will actually be here today to put a new battery in it. So this is the second battery from Green Bean in less than, you know, or about 100 miles on the first battery they put in. But my wife's going to handle the install today. I'm actually going into the deer woods. It's opening day, so I won't be here for the deer stall, for the battery install. But I'll update you guys, and on the second battery, and I'll drive it a little bit before, you know, I post this video, so give you a good review. See you. All right, it's now the next day. I'm back from hunting, and we had Green Bean Battery come install the second battery. My wife drove the car just down the street after he was finished and said that it seemed okay. We're going into town now and driving it a little. We'll see how it does. Looks like it doesn't have a full charge. Did it have a full charge when you brought it back yesterday? It didn't. Okay. So what I don't want to happen is it have a full charge and then discharge overnight. So, which is I think is what the other one was doing. We'll see. I just went maybe 0.2 of a mile around the block to a rental property we have, pulled in the driveway, and it's about half charged, so that's encouraging. We'll be going into town now, see how it does. Okay, just got back from town, just went a few miles, and the battery charged up all the way. No issues with it, but obviously way too early to tell. I need to make several trips in it, and I need to let the battery run all the way down as I'm sitting somewhere. Make sure, you know, it doesn't freak out on me then. But yeah, so far so good. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to put several miles on the car, probably a few hundred, before I post this video. So it'll be several months before I post this video. I want to let you guys know exactly how the battery's doing and make sure that it's a good battery before, or to let you know the final outcome of the battery, good or bad, before I post the video. Just to be fair to all, including Green Bean. All right, guys, so just giving another update on the second Green Bean battery. I went on a trip yesterday, took about a 200-mile trip, went into Oklahoma, Kansas, a couple of small towns, just went to a few junk stores, and the car did great. And the battery stayed all day. We drove the car all day. Battery stayed about right there. And it is charging up quickly. No issues with this second battery so far. I can actually tell there's a little more power out of that battery than the first one. Maybe that's just psychological, but and I topped the fuel off before we left, and that's where we came back. So got great mileage. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, so we ended the trip at 37.7 miles per gallon. And a couple of times I had it up to 40. Actually, it was at 40 for about 10 miles away from the house coming back. And I jumped on the interstate and hit about 85 on the way home, so I lost a little bit there. But yeah, I haven't seen, you know, 38 and 40 in many years in this car. So glad to have this battery. So I'm just glad to have it running with these gas prices we're having today, and we're seeing today. But yeah, again, everything's fine. The biggest difference you'll see that I noticed from the first green bean battery to the second green bean battery, that first green bean battery, it would run down very quickly, recover, run down quickly, and recover. This battery seems to stay at about 3/4 or higher all the time. And, you know, I haven't been able to sit around and idle a lot. You know, it's just driving, but it stays right there. So no problems out of the second green bean battery. But that's it for now. I'll just keep driving it. So it's about 3 days later, after my last video. I'll give you guys an update. When I turned the car on this morning, I had a full battery. That's what I want to see. So just going into town, short trip. Battery's still doing good so far. Going down a pretty good hill. Well, folks, it's about, I don't know, 2 weeks later, and still driving the Camry around. And that battery stays charged pretty much all the time now, which is a good sign. It stays charged, and then it charges up quickly if I do discharge it. So far, I'm happy with it. One thing I was going to mention was the tank average. You can see I'm almost burnt a half a tank. My tank average is 36. And that's pretty good. That's mostly around town on this tank. So I'm parked in a parking lot now waiting for my wife, and I have the AC on because, as you can see, I've got a full battery. So I'm just sitting here in this parking lot, and this will be a good test. This was the test when the first green bean battery failed on me. I was sitting in a parking lot with the AC on, and then the batteries dropped all the way down, and then they never recovered. But I can already tell this battery, I've had the AC on here, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. The battery hasn't moved. So this battery has a lot of capacity. I'll just sit here with the AC on for a while, see what happens. So I've been sitting here about 10 minutes now, and battery is holding very, very good. I'm actually going to get out of the car now and just leave it on with the AC on. I've got to run over here and meet my wife for a minute, and we'll just see how long it lasts. It's been at least 20 minutes, and you see where the battery's at.
Yeah.
Car has been running. AC is on. So I don't think, I don't know, it may sit here another 15 minutes. What do you think, honey?
I don't know. I didn't know you were recording.
That's okay. But I thought I had the recirculation on. Yeah, this battery is, I think this is going to be a very good battery. Mainly because it's got great capacity holding its charge. and we need to move on, so I can't even let it. Well, there, it just dropped a little bit again. So if it drops one more bar, the battery or the engine should crank up and start charging the battery. So we may sit here and wait on that just for a minute, see if it happens. Okay, so the car is set for at least, well, over 30 minutes. I think maybe around 35 minutes, and the engine just fired up when it dropped that second to the last bar there. I think that's second to the last, but you can see where it's at. So that's a good sign. All right, we went about, what do you say, 2 miles? Yeah, maybe 2 miles in traffic, and the battery is already charged up fully, almost fully. Okay guys, it's been about 3,000 miles since we installed the second green bean battery, and I'm finishing this video up. So after this segment here, I'll get the video ready and posted. But just wanted to let everyone know that this second green bean battery has been awesome. Zero issues, and you can see the battery is charging there. It stays charged, it stays full all the time. It really acts like a new battery from what I can remember years ago from the car being new, but it does very well. And you know, I'm currently, let's see, getting 34.9 on this tank average. And I've had the opportunity to take a few different road trips with it. Did about a 300-mile trip, and now several tanks of gas through, or not several actually, just a handful tanks of gas through the last 3,000 miles. And I'm getting, on the highway, I can get 40 miles to the gallon if I do around 65 to 68. But I don't do that. I run 75, 80, 85 out on the interstate. So I'm getting about 35 on a tank average. About the worst I can do is about 35. And so it does good. Very happy with it. We've been driving the car a lot lately now that gas prices are up, and about the worst that I can do in driving the car hard is about 35 miles to the gallon on a tank average. So, and I can get up to 40 if I do around 65 to 68 out on the interstate with it on a long trip, and we've taken a couple of long trips. So it's been nice getting the hybrid running again, and you know, not having to fill up as often. I think I filled up the other day from almost dead empty, and it was a $47 fill up, and I haven't had a $47 fill up in this car since I bought it new in 07. So, but you know, at least I won't have to fill it up for a while. It does very good. This battery, I don't have anything bad to say about Green Bean battery. I highly recommend Green Bean. I know I had the first bad battery from them, but you know, they were very responsive. They took care of the issue immediately, and they gave me a good battery the second time. So that first battery, you know, had a bad cell or something. I don't know what was wrong with it. Don't really care. All I really care about is the fact that I have a good working battery now, and I have a lifetime warranty on it. So if anything goes wrong, you know, this car's got 163,000 on it, but it still runs great. It's had synthetic oil in it since I bought it new, and it's been taken care of. Well, folks, I'll go ahead and end this segment and get the video ready to post. I hope you've enjoyed the video series on this Camry hybrid battery repair. I've enjoyed making it. Please subscribe if you enjoy the videos. I'll do an update on the Camry maybe in a few months, or if anything significant happens, because I'll certainly keep it. I'm not selling the car. I plan to keep it for as long as it stays running and it's cost effective to fix. So until next time, folks, we'll see you. Thanks for watching.